Today is the day, geeks. Welcome back to another episode of Ark Building Evolved. Today is the day that I play around with the castle for the first time. I'm going to be using the Castles, Keeps, and Forts mod. Most of this village has been built with vanilla or Structures Plus building pieces, and I know it's dark. I will lighten this up in post so it's visible for all of you guys. This part of the city could definitely use some lighting. Still a work in progress. So in a moment, I'm going to get together with my old pal Dynamic D. He's going to help me derp around with this castle that may eventually end up getting named after him, like Cole Harbor was eventually named after a generous patron. And I've got a couple different ideas. Eventually, guys, I would like that bridge up there to be a gateway to the city built up with a castle all around it, but that might be too ambitious. It might make sense to decide to stop and put the gateway here, maybe between these two trees, incorporate a couple of the tree platforms into it. So I want to get a sort of a humble start today before we really go all in on a castle, and I think my plan is to start with this cliff face over here, to build up right next to what will eventually be the church. And actually, you know what, maybe, here, let's use a little creative mode fly. Maybe we start right back here, and I start building up into the wall. Dynamic and I are going to build a lot off camera. He's going to stream a little bit, and I'm going to record little chunks of it, but I think the time has come to start with that. Now that I'm in fly mode, we might as well take advantage of it. This city, as you get the overhead view, it needs what I talked about from Game of Thrones, the centerpiece builds. Boom. Church, and there needs to be space between the church. So maybe in line with those smaller trees in between the two big trees, we start designing a castle that could eventually form the gateway, the inland gateway to the city. And I've done some work to sort of limit my expansion. I suppose I should show you. If you see this row of foundations going through that tree and down to the edge, that is going to be a wall, and that is going to be one edge of the city. Now, I have been doing some work over here that I suppose I should show you some off-camera work. I expanded and eventually built a lower dock down here, another pier, put a couple of ships in the harbor, put barrels in that one, put some red sails furled on that one. I'm working on an idea for a crane using this Castles and Keeps trebuchet. And over here I have another dock that steps down. I put some boats in storage, things like that. So this is what I've been working on, derping around with. And eventually maybe the arena will go there, but the centerpiece builds, the most important of which is the castle, and I think eventually it has to fill the space back there towards the back of the city and go up the cliff sides. I have no idea what Dynamic and I are going to come up with today, so I figured I would leave you there. Just do a quick intro, and at some point I will cut back to you and show you some progress. I don't know. We'll see how much. I'm going to be learning Castle, Keeps, and Forts for the very first time, so it's going to be a slow learning process, so I want to do a lot of it off camera. All right, guys, sit back and enjoy a castle building episode of Building Evolved. Welcome back, guys. Getting used to the constant rains yet again. It takes some time when you're playing on the center to get used to how often it rains, which is always. And I do have some progress to show you, but before I get there, I wanted to spend a little time on the path alongside our canal here. And you know what? Let's do a little jump down. I'm trying not to spoil any views for you. I did some work with Dynamic. We actually built for a couple of hours, and I ended up not doing any recording during that time because there was so much to goddamn learn about this mod. Take a look at my inventory, guys. It's insane. So here's some regular stuff, and then just look at the number of building pieces. So many, and that is only the beginning. I really didn't get that deep into it, guys. So me learning this mod is going to be a challenge, but one that I am excited to take on once I see the potential of what we might be able to create if we learn how to do this properly. Now, before I brought you back, I wanted to go ahead and get the canal pathway built in so that we could do a walk up. So far, the canal was built... Hold on. There. Yeah. Does that stick out anywhere? No. The canal was built around this river, which is sort of a goofy-looking river. Ooh, there's a weird piece. Let's break that out. Okay, perfect. Oh, I see why. Okay. So this is a constant issue with these overlapping pieces, but I will get there. And like that. Works for me, guys. So I wanted to connect these two areas and take the canal upwards. So when I last left it, I talked about maybe starting in here. I don't want to do that. I want to maintain this little peaceful garden that we've built, and you're getting little hints of the castle back there. What's up, Professor Frog? How you doing, brother? I like this, and so I'm going to end up fencing it in, keeping all this natural foliage, and somewhere around this last tree here. Yeah, like this. We're going to fence it in. So I had some really tough choices to make with this castle, guys. And the first one was the color. I kind of wanted something that would be white with blue roofs. Not going to happen. That is the color we've got. It's a sandstone color. And this is the beginning of it. What do you think? First glance. So so far, this is the equivalent of a foundation. I went and added the equivalent of a few walls right here and a few roofs right here, but really we're still just getting started. I just wanted to do a few little decorative pieces as a sort of proof of concept to show you the look of the castle, and that's it right there. So the sandstone, and then below that are the settler walls. That's the sort of brownish wood, and then in between there are the castles and keeps wooden walls from the keeps tier, and on top of that terracotta roofs. Terracotta roofs on top of the tower, and right now, as you can tell, it's pretty boring. Lots of just vertical walls, and that's why I wanted to build this up. So what we're going to have as you walk up here, you're going to have a little wall, short sort of waist-high wall here, so you'll be able to look over and see this. Maybe even no wall eventually. I don't know. Maybe we'll get away with that. And then I figured we're going to have the same thing over here. So there'll be a steep drop-off right down here into this sort of green land, and I ended up building the whole thing on top of a rock. Guys, I'll put a link, by the way, to Dynamic's channel in the description. That is Pego Studios. Started as just essentially a sidekick for me, keeping me company building, talked me out of creative building and into spending some time in survival, said, I'll do all the gathering, you do the building, and that got me back on the Geek server when I wasn't spending enough time on it. And now, channel of his own, Patreon supporters of his own, doing his own thing. So shout out to Dynamic for the help, and eventually, hopefully, he'll be in this video. No one has ever appeared in a video in this series, 41 episodes deep, other than me. This season, that's going to change, for sure. I've already teased a few people hanging out with me doing projects, Riley, Gingy, a few others have stuff on their minds. Dynamic will be among them, and I think the castle is where he will assist. So here we go, guys. I've built this all out. We're going to have this drop off here, so you see green, and then rock, and then what I might end up doing, before we go look at more of the castle, is for the areas that are overlooking, it depends on if I feel like I want to go this nuts, I could use these bushes from the Eco Trees mod. These are the large bushes, and we can kind of decorate around this, and then maybe we could have the canal wall, the canal sort of pathway wall come much closer to the edge, so that it would be something like this, and you wouldn't have a big, huge green space. But for now, I just got this rock, hop, skip, and a jump up. So there you go. We kept it pretty simple, guys. There's actually in Structures Plus, you have like a 4x1 wall tall. With this, you have a 3x3 wall. It is huge. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. Among the massive number of building pieces, it's pretty easy. It has a little label on it. This thing, right? So, boom. It's huge. Now, let's talk about why I chose the sandstone. This is the gray stone. Blends in a little bit too much with the background that it'll be built up against. And then we have mossy, even more so, almost the same color as the background, and I needed something that would stand out. Then you get into the sandstone. This is what I chose. Hellfire, totally unrealistic, totally pointless, not for a build like this. Red granite, that was the other serious contender. And the great thing about this mod, guys, okay, I didn't mean to do that, is there is a gun, just like you have with Structures Plus. Let's go ahead and I'll get myself out of this canal in a sec here. We have this gun, and up, okay? And it works just like a paint gun. So I go 3. Oh, nope. And I can do this, or this, or this. It's Alt, which is also my selfie cam. I scrolled through all the options. It continues down all the way into dark matter, also pointless for us. If there was a white version of that or the obsidian, I'd take it, and then the obsidian, which is a little bit less shiny, but I want a white version of that. Something crisp that really stands out. But this was the best I could do. Some of the bits in this building system are paintable. Other bits are not paintable, which is really frustrating. And even more so, there are bits that I painted that show, and then or that don't show, and then I teleport away and teleport back, and all of a sudden they are painted. So it was really frustrating to try and work out what was going to stay painted and what wasn't. But this is kind of the beginning of my playing around. We tried so many different variations trying to come up with a color palette I liked between the settler building pieces, villager building pieces, the keeps in the various colors, and the different colors of roofs. There is no blue roof, and I couldn't paint a roof and have it stay painted. It just didn't look right. So I ended up settling on the red so that I would have color, and I matched everything else around the terracotta red roofs. Now, I know the series is called Building Evolved, and the amount of building that actually happens on camera is limited. I take my cue from my favorite building series, which is Building with BOO, a Minecraft series, and as you get into this game and you want to build more and more ambitious things, you're required to spend that time off camera putting it in. So I hope you guys can still appreciate and learn from what I'm doing without seeing every step of a build, because this would take 2-3 hours, and we don't have the ability to do that in videos. So I've been expanding this canal side, and this is going to go in tandem with the castle as we approach this mega pathway up here, or mega bridge up here. And I'm just going to do fly mode, climb up here and show this off to you guys. So eventually, I think the castle should come around here and be built up into this. That might be too much. What we may end up doing instead is have the castle form a smaller gateway underneath this large gateway, and it will cross over to both sides. So that tower looks pretty cool, eh, guys? So what this is an octagon, and the octagons with this are very different. You have a triangle piece, left and right, and they don't snap where you think they're going to snap. And then I transitioned from this octagon into a circular tower on top. And this was sandstone originally, but now we've got it in this keep wood wall. And then go up to here. This is a bit of that red granite on the battlement. And then here, square. So it goes from octagon to round to square, and I kind of like it. And eventually we ended up with something that was wood towards the top, and I think that's going to be our secondary material from the sandstone, will be that. And the color that you saw down here and that you see across the river over here is this, which is the settler wall. And this, just like everything else, has different colors. That's the sweet chestnut. We got elm, which has got sort of a rusty orange color, along with gray. Would be good for certain things. The English oak is the default, and I think that's it. Yes, but you can also, if we go say sweet chestnut, you can also go like this and change and get some different shapes, which really gives you a ton of variety. So that's why this mod is so challenging, because I could look at this and go, no, and then make a bunch of tiny changes that would take me a while, and then look at it and go, nah, you know what, I liked it before, and then go back and make a bunch of tiny changes. So it's a real challenge, guys. I'm going to just do my best and keep working on it. But for now, I just wanted to give you a little update on the progress, show you that little end of the castle, and show you this end of the castle. Everything in between is definitely not done, and nothing on the inside is done. I'm not sure it needs to be. But I think my next project is going to be to keep working on this canal, to figure out what the sides are going to be like, figure out what this edge is going to be like. If anything, it might actually be nice to have no edge here. I kind of like that, because anything, even, let's go ahead and find a railing, and like so, inventory, railing. Perfect. Even this is going to obstruct your view and your ability to take in the fact that there's rushing water there. I don't know how bad that would be, but I wonder if we could get away with nothing. And I will think about it, guys. And I'm going to... What is that noise? Get wrecked, idiot. If you're asking, a lot of people will ask, how do you just insta-delete things? I use a program called Ark Commander, and it has something called the finger cannon. I use that in conjunction with creative mode, which when you have cheats enabled, allows you to do this or this. And in creative mode, you can double jump to fly, which we never really flew in this series before. I always... And I like that. That's intentional. I like to stay on foot. It makes you take your city in. It makes you look at it from different angles. If you're not walking across this bridge, you're not going to look at that angle and go, I need to change this. And simultaneously, flying is really useful, because I was tempted to start the castle all the way right up against the edge of that church. And I backed up with you at the very beginning of this video and realized, you know what? There needs to be cliff. There needs to be cliff in between. So the church is a separate entity from the castle. And yeah, don't let me blab too much more. Okay. Mouse freaked out there. Hope I didn't give anybody an epileptic seizure. But we used to just have a drop off here, so I'm going to keep working on expanding this out and making it a little bit more easy to walk this path and therefore take in the castle on foot and start to view this city on foot as it expands. I'm having a lot of fun, guys. The next time I come back to you, I will either have more castle built and be by myself, or have more castle built and be with Dynamic D, depending on when we get together. And if not now, then he will join me, because this is only the humble castle. As the title suggests, this is the beginning of what will hopefully be a much larger build. All right, guys, I'll be back in your life in a minute. One project leads to another project leads to another project. The only constant, rain. Constant rain. I should show you guys this. This is a little dock I worked on off camera, and we did some fun stuff with the ability to flip stuff upside down using Structures Plus, which I think is a technique I've showed off before. If not, I'll make a building tips and tricks video to go with this one. And you guys can see, if you zoom on out, that some of these stone ceilings are upside down. Kind of cool. And so is everything in the middle here. These are upside down wooden ceilings, and I put a little brown paint on region 5, if I had to guess. Something like that. That continues up here, and then I use some of the modded stuff. You see upside down wooden railings with the upside down stone railing on top, so I carried that technique through. And then some of the dinghies, not the ones that float on the water, but the decorative ones from Advanced Rafts are on here, and it looks like the sun's going to come out. And then when I was on here earlier building up these docks, decided to decorate up these rocks with a bunch of critters and creatures. I think there's a Diplocaulus, there's a frog, and there's a bunch of otters just sunbathing out here, which, just like the seagulls, adds a little life to the place, I think. So yeah, one project led to another. I think the last project of that type is this newer dock over here I showed you earlier in the video, and we'll get to some castle building, guys, but it's gonna have to be a multi-episode thing. I'm just not getting a castle done today. No chance. It's the next day already for me. I thought it was clearing up. Anyway, so then there's this dock, which was built pretty standard. The only thing I did different is, if you see the sides of those docks, full stone, full wood before you get to the inside-out wood. Here, I halved it. So use the S Plus stone railings to get a little half-wall action, and then rope ladders off this side down here instead of the wooden ladders that you see adorning some of these docks over here. So let's talk about projects begetting one project leading to another project. So this boulevard has existed for a very long time, and one thing I love about it is these trees from eco trees, pear trees and kapok trees. And the only problem is the boulevard changes width, and I thought yesterday that I was fixing that. I redid this whole wall to my right here, but I did it 5 wide instead of 4, and 4 wide is where these get perfectly centered. So what we had before was up here there was a tree perfectly centered, and then it threw off, like, the thing that works about that is the line of trees. So either I can continue this row of trees, and if we turn on the HUD, I can keep placing. Basically what I was doing was a medium crop plot right there, and then alternate the kapok and the pear tree. So I think we're on pear tree right here. The pear has fruit, otherwise identical to the kapok. Did I mix it up? Which one's that? It doesn't really matter. That's the kapok. We can. This is probably not staying anyway. But yes, this project I was led to from. Is this the pear? No, I keep choosing the wrong tree. Okay, well, let's go ahead and swap this one out then if we gotta break one. And we'll go with number 2 right about here. And like so. And the pear's the same, like I said, just with fruit on it. So what we could do is we keep going up on a line like this, and then we'd probably have another one right about here. And a kapok. No, a pear, right? And do a little rotation so that they're not facing the same way. Yes, that's right. So then you end up with this continuation of the same straight line. But what happens here is that I got a lot more real estate to my right than I do to my left. So once you get up to this street here, these will no longer be centered. So then a kapok, like so. So that could work, but then no center. So I've been trying to figure out ways to do it, and one project leads me into the next. How did I end up over here in the first place? Well, this is connected I was led here from the canal on the other side, which you can see leading up to the castle is much more complete. So what we're going to do in this chunk of the video is build a little castle, a little bit of the castle together, and then I'll keep working away at it. I think this will be an ongoing project. I don't want to spend episodes in a row working on it. But this didn't used to exist like this before. So now we have a little pathway down here. I haven't figured out if this is going to lead to something. Might do some livestock or something out here. I don't know. Perhaps some houses. We'll see. Maybe more of the houses like this. Maybe more of the little cottages. I'm not sure. But the canal road now exists on this side of the pathway. Leads us up. I tried to use the same techniques I used on the other side. And then here's the compromise I decided on. I was talking last time I was with you guys about having nothing over here, because I thought that these big thick stone railings would obstruct the view, and I worked out a couple of different things. So these are the S+ double door frames, and I played around with snap points to get them waist high, and then boom, railings sitting on top, which works. And then as you come down even further to this chunk, even taller. So I could walk right through here if I needed, but you still get the sort of sense of a barrier. And then we go low, and then we go high for these extended out bits. I think that's going to work and still give us what we need. And then just like before, I build around the trees where I can. That is really, really crummy looking. So I think this tree may have to come out. Either that or the canal the canal road just gets built up right around it. I don't know. That doesn't look very good right now. But here's our castle. And the one part of it that I think looks good, that I want to show you how I created using the CKF modded pieces, is this bit here. That overhang that connects two towers. It really adds detail, much needed detail to this thing. So we're going to try and find a way to add some detail here. And I'm wondering if we can do it in the middle of one of these walls. Now, I mentioned I like to stay on foot so that walking back and forth throughout this city, I can get a feel for it and kind of see how things look from different angles. But for building today, I think in the interest of speed, we're going to try and find, we're going to try and fly in order to do this. And I think I'll plan on starting there, and maybe we do a little taper in job here. I guess let's do this. So this is the settler ceiling. Settler ceilings have a couple of different varieties. The sweet chestnut is the one we ended up using. I'm not going to switch these out as we build. I'll just come through with the gun after. And just like vanilla stuff, there is a halfway on top snap point. So if we take this down, how is this going to look as we get down to here? I think that's going to be pretty tidy. I think that could work. And then we'll just have to find some way to taper in here. Now, the CKF stuff, very, very complicated. So if I go triangle, okay, and we look for the settler triangle, right or left. It should be right, right? Okay, apparently not. Okay, let's try settler left. Inventory, and we'll go here, and settler triangle left, and flip it like that. Okay, so that could work for us. Now the thing is, that is going to need a totally different wall. This wall here, the settler wall, which they're about 1.4 tall by my best estimate. Two of them are a little bit shorter than 3 vanilla walls. So when you start mixing and matching this stuff, it does get tricky, but they are the same width, which is not bad. So that would be the beginning of that thing, and then we have to go find the diagonal settler wall, which again, this one is the only thing that would work there, like so. I think that's pretty smooth. You know what? We're going to move the whole thing inward, and I know that means going to find those unusual building pieces once again in the inventory. It was left. Brain is terrible. Brain does not remember what it was. Yes, that is right. And then diag, which was a nickname for one of my friends in high school. Funny story, just he hated that nickname. Always makes me laugh when I say the short version of diagonal is diag. Anyway, so then what we did, guys, was we incorporated some of this stuff. So right here, definitely not going to do a window. And down, you know what, let's find a diagonal keep wall. And this is the problem, guys. I just don't have a big enough hotbar to do even some basic building. And this thing. Somehow I didn't have those. So we'll do that. Now, with these, we're going to be swapping the texture out to wood, like so. And that wood is going to get a paint job, which I guess we can do now as well. Sprayer, and we'll take this, and just region 1, if memory serves. Boom. Little brighten it up. Little bit to brighten. Now, paint that, nothing happens. Go to wood. Just go wooden. Maybe we go wooden 5? I think that could work. Something that looks like that would work for me. And then does this one have... This only had the one option, right? Yes, only one type of wood. Okay, and then through here, we are going to go to the window frames. Now, in the stone, that is a nice small window with nothing in it. I think once we switch over, and I guess I should do the spray job first. And then we'll go get out that Castles and Keeps gun, and we'll keep that on the hotbar, the one that is basically your model selector. So here, gun, and we'll put this right here on the last slot. So with this, I think if I hold Alt and press 8, yes, exactly. And there's only the one option here, but, ooh, you know what I hadn't thought of? We're actually going to need to put true windows in here because this is going to look straight in on a wall. So let's have a look, good lord, at the number of building pieces here. This keep hatch window, I think, is probably going to be the winner. Let's replace the tree on the hotbar, and we'll pop, oh, you know what? Put that away, and then go. That is a hideous looking window. That is awful. Redwood, wood. That didn't change anything. Obsidian. Okay, so there are going to be options that work. You know what? I'm not sure. Does a regular window fit in there? If so, maybe we try something else. And we see if maybe like a greenhouse glass or something would work. Let's try just regular greenhouse window. And we'll put those on the hotbar here for a sec. Okay, so those would work. They might look a little anachronistic, but they're definitely going to not show the inside. The reflection, especially in the daylight, is going to block that off. I struggled with this, trying to find something that was enough of a contrast to the sandstone and enough of a contrast to the terracotta roofs. This color is actually somewhere dead center between them in terms of that, which is why I ended up introducing this as a sort of a texture in the middle and a color scheme in the middle. Keep working across, like so, and like so. And then now, ooh. Okay, so I think, most likely, I have forgotten a very important, very frustrating step. That is what I thought. Okay, so what we are going to do is remove all of these. So, for you guys, let's just show you real quick. If we go like this, and do your standard flip key, which should be E for most of you. Triangle and Y on console? Obviously, you're not playing with this mod on a console. Oh, that's wrong. And a little flip job. And we'll build across, take you out. And I don't know if I have to mess with that last one. So let's go ahead and pull you out. Are you still on number 3? Nope. So let's go across like so, and we'll slap this in. And you can see that color really matches into the sandstone almost too much. So that is why we got that row of alternate designs in the middle. And now by flipping those, the roof will go the direction we want it to, which means these castle walls will need to be a bit higher, I think, eventually, in order for this not to look too weird. But you never know. There might be cool ways to go about doing this. That looks like it's not going to work for us. But you really never know as a build develops. And then what we're going to have here is a piece, and the nomenclature is so challenging. I think it's called corner. And, okay, so this piece does need to come out as well. We'll go find handrail. We'll place it. We'll flip it. We will change it to sweet chestnut. We'll go back in the inventory. We'll search corner. We'll take this roof. We'll pop it right in there. Boom. Now, the green roof, really not so bad in a lot of scenarios. It works well with these materials. However, there is so much green around us, it's never going to work for us. So we want region 2. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and let's go across like this, and let me know what you guys think of this color combo. That is kind of the biggest takeaway from today, because if I keep going, I'm going to keep building and keep doing more of the same. Here's, by the way, an example without the castle wood walls in between, and this just blends too much together. It's too vanilla. With that in the middle, you add a ton of detail. I really like it. We're going to go change the model on this last one here, and we'll try and find one that works. It's going to be 2, maybe, or 1. I think that's the one. I think that best blends in with what we got on the ends. Yeah. So then the situation we would be in is needing to extend the keep walls upward. So put the gun away. And for at least this part of the castle, we're going to have more roof going up, so that this little bit of roof that we have sticking on the outside just looks like a small kind of overhang. Who knew you could build up like that? And then I'd need to find a curved wall. Rounded is the terminology. Like I said, nomenclature is a nightmare. And maybe one with a window. You know what? Let's just do a non-window one, because we got a window right below. And with this, you come in, and this is 3. I know this one off by heart. And we are making progress on this thing, guys. Now, one problem might be we're getting quite tall for the tower. The towers that are nearby. So that would mean this tower right here would need to be much, much taller. So I should probably spend some time working on this castle and come back to you. At this point, you're pretty deep in the video. I wanted to show you this little bit of how this is going to look. I think I'm going to continue with the bushes, maybe add in something like these trees down here in the occasional spot. Maybe not that one with the pear tree. Pear trees wouldn't grow randomly in the wild. They'd be sort of more intentionally placed. But I think maybe that row of bushes, along with a few of the natural bits of greenery, just to separate the rock from the grass. And then the grass will go straight into the canal road edge. And I've tried to keep it a little randomized and have some different sized edges on it, just to kind of follow the contour of the rock. But let's do a step down, and I'll talk to you while we back up, and we'll come back. I hate this. I'm going to have to fix this. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. But I talked about the importance of seeing your city on foot, seeing your place on foot, and it starts to give you a feel for things. And look at this. More stuff to fix. What is that hovering wall? God dang it. Okay, so work your way down. That's starting to look like some. Obviously, you know what? You can't really get a good look. We need one more tower, and it'll probably have that crenellation battlements type top to it there, and we'll make the tower on the far side have the little pointed terracotta roof. But we have taken a big sandstone wall and boom, added some detail. I think I like it. And we've done all this without getting into the really complicated archways and all that kind of stuff. This tower down here, I'm liking it more and more with each day. I think I'm happy with that, but let me go away from you guys yet again. I will see how long this video is, how much more I will be able to record in the last segment of this, but take a break, guys. I will be back in your life. The sun is setting on us here, guys, and the sun is setting on this episode. I really don't have much time left to blab. We are deep into this already, but I did want to talk to you about one more thing today, and I think I can get very used to that boulevard. I think the straight line of trees is so much better than everything else I was trying to do. I think by the time you get up here, you're not going to realize that you're off center if the straight line continues. I've been using polls since I've been back in this series, guys, and I have an important question that has been a theme of my day today. Do you laugh at things that other people find horrifying? I do. I was raised on the Three Stooges and America's Funniest Home Videos and laughing when an old lady falls on the dance floor, even though it may mean a broken hip. But there are people who just don't find that funny, laughing at somebody else's expense, even though I do. My friend Alexis Arcade, who you guys may know from her YouTube channel, or her now, she's on Twitch these days as opposed to YouTube. She posted something on Twitter today saying she was laughing at an episode of Big Bang Theory and was displeased with herself for it. And I shared a video that, like I said, most people would find truly horrifying, of a man in a bit of a car accident. But his screams are so funny, I can't help but laugh every time. So vote in the poll that I'm going to put up for today's episode. Do you laugh at the things that other people are cringe at? I certainly do. And it was a theme continuing as I tried to manage the Geeks Discord, my Patreon community today. Some people making jokes about a celebrity that recently passed away, a very small celebrity, and other people finding it totally tasteless. And I was trying to toe the line somewhere in between and totally did not do the best job of keeping everybody from getting mad at each other. And ooh, fog setting in? I don't know. But this is it, guys. This is the castle I've got at the end of the episode. As horrible as the things that I find funny are, I think the castle is not so horrible anymore. It was at the beginning. I took the concept that we did here and that I liked so much from this front part of the castle, and I added another little bit here. And one thing that I think really works is that all the towers are different. You don't have the same tower over and over. In fact, they alternate quite a bit as you go down. I even added a square tower and did something a little different on that one in the corner with a little bit of wood railing in between that the tower and the battlements, and then there's that square tower I talked about. We added in some windows here, and this whole addition right here is new, and I really, really like it. I need to get the canal road continuing. Eventually, the castle needs to be built on the other side, and instead of building up into that, I think what will happen is we will build a castle gateway over top of this, and basically hide this part of the river that defies all gravity as the river comes uphill, like it should not at all. Stupid river design. But we're making the most of what we got here in the center map, and I am having a lot of fun building. I cleaned up this right here, and guys, you're so deep into this episode already, 30-something minutes, and I'm just blabbing about nonsense. So I wanted to show you what we had. I think we're going to head down to the docks for sunset, and I'm going to talk about the project for the next episode. A little bit of lag there. And yeah, I'm just curious to know what kind of sense of humor do you guys have? Do you have the dark one that you're laughing and people are staring at you going, what is wrong with you? Yeah, because that happens sometimes. And wow, the lag is popping in. I think eventually I'm going to build this server until it falls apart. And hopefully we manage to get a city done by then. But until then, I'm going to just keep building. I think I'll take the castles mod and potentially bring it down to the walls I showed you on either shoreline of the city. One out there and one out there, and maybe continue that style, and maybe have the castles continue down. I would be so tempted to take the CKF mod and bring it to that church. Now that I've played with it a bit, I think you could do some incredible things, but I might try and keep the church vanilla. We will see. But here we... Lag, Lord! Here we are at sunset, guys, and I'm thinking for next episode, I want to work on a crane design. For these docks, these ships need to be loaded and unloaded. And how is that going to happen? Well, medieval cranes look a little bit like this trebuchet. They often have this big wheel for winding, they have a big counterbalance, and they have a big arm. The only problem with this is it's not a crane, it's a trebuchet. So I think if I combine this with some of the narrow wooden pillars from the villager and settler tiers of the CKF mod, I might be able to build something up that starts to resemble a crane that can hang out over the water, maybe have a hanging down bit with a little platform on it we can load up with barrels. So that's something for next episode. And wow, the lag, the server might need a bit of a reboot. It's not been this bad all day. But I had a ton of fun building with CKF today, guys, and I think the castle is coming together. You can see it a little bit from the distance, but yeah, I'm loving being back in this place, and I hope you are too. Links are popping up on your screen right now for the playlist for this series, and every episode is linked in... Sorry, every volume of episodes is linked in the description. So if you would like to go back and catch up, if you want to make sure you watch these episodes in order, find your way to a playlist. That is the absolute best thing you can do, and I promise I will keep these episodes... coming. I am having too much fun here, guys. I don't want to take a single day off building in this town. I love it. Love being here. All right, guys. I am UTC. This is Ark Building Evolved, and I will see you in our next episode.